Hello, Colettes, and welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing on the latest developing stories. We start with young star Pablo Torre, as it has been reported that Barcelona are reluctant to send the 19-year-old prospect on loan in the month of January. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then to conclude this episode, talking about this report claiming that La Liga could lose second place in UEFA rankings following triple Champions League exit. Of course, this week we have seen Barcelona, Atletico Madrid and Sevilla eliminating from Champions League. We are also going to be discussing on that. So guys, before we get right into those stories, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't turned on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch right up to the very end. Barca, Barca, Barca. Ever since Pablo Torre has become a Barcelona player, there has been plenty of hype around his name. The 19-year-old received a vote of confidence from Xavi to make his first team debut in a UEFA Champions League encounter, albeit off the bench against Victoria Pleasant this season. That was perhaps one of the biggest indications of just how highly rated the elegant midfielder is within the Barca camp. However, for the time being, the young star has been unable to break into the first team on a regular basis. Indeed, Torre made his La Liga debut only this past weekend, coming on as a late substitute against Athletic Club. The situation is far from ideal for both the player and the club, as it is important for the 19-year-old to keep getting regular minutes under his belt. But a report by Sport has clarified that the club remain insistent that they are unwilling to send Torre on loan, as they wish to have complete control over his development. A final decision on the ex-Racing Santander youth product's future, of course, will be made in January, after the FIFA World Cup in Qatar comes to an end. With first team football set to take a break during the World Cup, the report states that Torre will be playing for Barcelona Athletic during that time to gain valuable game time. Following that, a call will be taken over his immediate future at the club. During the Spaniard's stint at Spotify Camp Nou, there have been rumblings about his willingness to depart the club in favor of a move where he can receive regular first team minutes, being regarded as one of the nation's most gifted young stars. It is natural that Torre is eyeing the opportunity to showcase his talent at the highest level, much like in the vein of Pedri and Gavi. As Xavi has showcased during his time in charge at Barcelona, he has no fear when it comes to giving youngsters the stage to prove their mettle. Whether his situation takes a turn for the better after the World Cup break remains to be seen. Pablo Torre was one of the first players to join Barca in our summer transfer window that just passed. Of course, Barca wanted to, replicate the kind of, or let me say, Barca wanted to do what they did with Pedri's situation. They saw the prospect for Pablo Torre. He's a midfielder as well. Of course, bought him cheap so that, if he comes to the team, he grows, his market value automatically increases. Even though things have not gone as planned, the player was sent to the B team, but he was not happy because he left Racing Santander because he helped Racing Santander to promote them from third division to second division. And we know that Barca B is playing for third division. So he was not happy that it's like a demotion to him personally after great efforts with his team Racing. Will be going back to third division to play for the Barca reserve. But he didn't hide his mind on that. Of course, the Barca B coach himself knew very well that Pablo Torre refused to play some games. Xavi is trying to put some trust for the player because we saw him play against, in Champions League against Bayern as a substitute. Against Athletic Club, he played. I think he have totally three caps now for the first team. And I think if he can make use of those chances that manager Xavi can give him, then the better for him, because right now we know the midfield is really choked up in the team, and to break through that midfield to become first choice is not easy. So I think Pablo Torre will be trying his best to ensure that he can convince the manager. Of course, there have also been that possibility that Barca might be looking to loan him in January due to the fact that he's not playing he's not playing regularly, and there have been reports like that. But this report is claiming that Barca are reluctant to send the 19-year-old on loan. So let's see what happens. But things are still subject to change even when the January comes, because we don't know. Now that Barca have a kind of season that, something that started like a good season for us, but looking at how things have been, the January transfer window might just come and maybe some certain activities take place that they were not supposed to take place. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and see what Laporta and his board do, in order to ensure that the team continue to compete. Of course, the winter trading period will come as an opportunity for Barca to strengthen some areas that need strengthening as soon as possible, while waiting for the summer to make more strengthening, by the way. So let's see how it goes, and hopefully the season, we can pick up where we left off prior to the first international break, where Barca were playing some good football. Right now, things are just a type of way for us. We need to improve. Then moving on to the next story of discussion. On Wednesday, Barcelona were officially shown the door out of the Champions League after Inter Milan, annihilated Victoria Pleasant 4-0 at the San Siro. Barca's subsequent 3-0 defeat to Bayern Munich capped off a dreadful group stage exit for once European juggernauts. However, Barca are not the only side to have been far from their best in the continent's elite competition. In a group alongside the likes of Club Brugge, Porto and Bayern Leverkusen, the much fancied Atletico Madrid, of course, have exited the competition. It is safe to say that both Barcelona and Atletico Madrid's group stage exit are far more of a blunder than Sevilla's, who have ultimately finished behind top sides like Borussia Dortmund and Manchester City in Group G. As per the latest information provided by The Times, La Liga is at risk of losing second place in UEFA's league rankings, as three Spanish clubs have endured exits in the group stage. Spanish football's only saving grace in the Champions League remain Real Madrid, who won the competition in heroic fashion last term. However, the staggeringly underwhelming displays from both Barcelona and Atletico Madrid could have directly hampered the Spanish top flight as a whole and the number of spots available in the division in the tournament. For years on end, La Liga has been held in high regard, especially due to the fact that the teams from the division tend to always punch above their weight in Europe. However, such has not been the case in this season's edition of competition, which also highlights how the division seems to have fallen from grace in recent years. Ultimately, it isn't a stretch to say that Barcelona and Atletico Madrid will have plenty to answer for if UEFA tend to punish La Liga as a whole. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do well to subscribe so you always stay up to date with the latest on Barcelona here on Viva Barca. Until next time, bye bye.